The film opens in a calm, serene setting far from the chaos of Manila. Lieutenant Jamal Razul, a principled Muslim officer, is introduced in his hometown. He is a man of quiet strength, characterized by his unwavering moral compass, deep respect for his faith, and a commitment to justice that surpasses personal ambition. Unlike conventional action heroes, Jamal does not seek fame, power, or recognition. He seeks balance and righteousness in a world that has shown him, repeatedly, that justice is often ignored. From the first scene, the film establishes Jamal's connection to his community. He is seen participating in prayers, engaging with elders, and showing a calm authority in his interactions with local citizens. These early sequences are not just exposition, they are essential for understanding the foundation of his character. Jamal is rooted in faith, respect, and a disciplined moral code, qualities that will define his approach to the challenges he faces in the broader urban setting. Soon, Jamal is transferred to Manila, a city represented as a labyrinth of corruption, danger, and moral compromise. The contrast between his tranquil hometown and the bustling chaos of the metropolis is stark. Here, the filmmakers employ visual storytelling to reflect the societal imbalance that Jamal is about to confront. Dimly lit streets, crowded marketplaces, narrow alleys, and a pervasive sense of fear among ordinary citizens. The city is not merely a backdrop, but an active character in the narrative, shaping and influencing the events and decisions of the protagonist. Jamal's introduction to the Manila police force establishes him as both a competent officer and a moral anomaly. While other officers navigate their duties with self-interest or compromise, Jamal remains steadfast, his actions guided by a personal sense of right and wrong. His presence challenges not only the criminals he pursues, but also the systemic corruption embedded within the law enforcement hierarchy. Early interactions with colleagues and superiors set up the central tension. Jamal's principles often clash with institutional norms, foreshadowing the battles, both physical and ethical, that will define the film. The initial encounters with crime in Manila are understated yet powerful. Jamal observes the harassment of civilians, petty thefts escalating into violent acts, and the subtle intimidation of the marginalized. Each incident highlights the depth of societal decay, and Jamal's restrained intervention reflects his disciplined approach. Unlike typical action sequences of the era, the film prioritizes tactical precision, moral clarity, and emotional resonance over chaotic spectacle. Every movement, gesture, and decision is purposeful, demonstrating Jamal's intelligence and experience. The antagonists are introduced with complexity, not as one-dimensional villains, but as embodiments of corruption, greed, and moral decay. They include influential businessmen, corrupt officials, and syndicate enforcers who exploit the weak and manipulate the system to their advantage. Their power is not only physical, but structural, influencing police procedures, political decisions, and community behavior. This multidimensional portrayal of antagonism adds a layer of realism and heightens the stakes for Jamal's mission. It is a fight not only against crime, but against the entrenched systems that allow crime to flourish. Parallel to the external conflict, the film delves into Jamal's internal struggle. He is consistently faced with ethical dilemmas: when to intervene, how to protect innocence without escalating violence, and how to maintain his integrity while navigating a city that rewards compromise. These dilemmas give depth to his character and provide the audience with an understanding of the intellectual and emotional rigor behind each of his decisions. Jamal's restraint and patience are central to his identity. He is not impulsive, but methodical, and his moments of decisive action carry the weight of deliberate choice. Cultural representation is a cornerstone of the film's narrative. Jamal's Muslim identity is portrayed with dignity and respect, emphasizing the values of community, faith, honor, and discipline. The film incorporates traditional practices, attire, and rituals, not as exotic embellishments, but as integral elements of the protagonist's life and moral framework. This attention to authenticity elevates the film beyond a conventional action movie, highlighting FPJ's commitment to respectful cultural depiction and narrative substance. The narrative structure of Part 1 establishes tension gradually. Scenes are carefully paced to build suspense and emotional engagement. Smaller acts of heroism, protecting a vendor, intervening in a street confrontation, offering guidance to a younger officer, serve as narrative seeds that grow into the larger moral and physical confrontations that will define Part 2. These moments emphasize that heroism is as much about everyday choices as it is about climactic battles. The film also utilizes cinematography and sound design to reinforce thematic elements. Close-up shots capture Jamal's expressions, revealing the inner deliberation and moral reasoning that accompany each action. Ambient sounds, footsteps, city noise, the hum of marketplaces establish a realistic atmosphere, grounding the action in a believable urban environment. The .357 Magnum revolver, central to Jamal's identity, is treated as a symbol of justice and precision. Its presence in the narrative is measured, appearing when necessary and always used with intention. The emotional core of Part 1 lies in the portrayal of community and the human cost of systemic corruption. Families live in fear, children navigate dangerous streets, and ordinary citizens adapt to oppression in small, painful ways. These portrayals ensure that Jamal's mission is understood not only in terms of action, but also as a moral imperative. His interventions, though often limited in scope at this stage, provide hope and inspire confidence, laying the groundwork for his eventual transformation into a full-fledged hero in Part 2. Key sequences in Part 1 include the opening portrayal of Jamal's hometown, establishing his moral and cultural foundation. His arrival in Manila, contrasted with the city's chaos and danger. Initial encounters with crime, highlighting his restraint and tactical skill. Early confrontations with antagonists, establishing the stakes and complexity of the threats he faces. Moments of quiet heroism that define his character and establish audience empathy. By the conclusion of Part 1, the stage is fully set for escalation. Jamal has earned recognition, respect, and attention from both allies and enemies. The .357 Magnum revolver emerges as a symbol of justice rather than vengeance, embodying the principle that action must be guided by moral clarity. The narrative tension has been established. The city teeters on the edge of moral collapse. The antagonists are aware of Jamal's presence, and the audience anticipates the challenges that will drive the story toward its climactic sequences in Part 2.
As Part 2 begins, Lieutenant Jamal Razul has fully established himself in Manila as a moral and tactical force. The criminals he initially observed now recognize that he is no ordinary officer. His reputation spreads quietly but powerfully, signaling to the syndicate that someone is actively challenging their dominance. The tension rises as Jamal's every move forces adversaries to reconsider their tactics, revealing vulnerabilities in a system that had once seemed impenetrable. The story escalates through a series of encounters that combine strategic brilliance with emotional weight. Jamal's actions are deliberate, disrupting smuggling operations, protecting community members under threat, gathering evidence of corruption. Each act demonstrates his deep intelligence and patience. Unlike traditional action films of the era, these sequences emphasize planning, moral reasoning, and consequences, showing FPJ's commitment to crafting a hero who is not just strong, but principled and intelligent. Section 2. Iconic Action Sequences. Scene 1. The Syndicate Raid. One of the film's pivotal moments features Jamal infiltrating a heavily guarded criminal hideout. Shadows dominate the frame, creating suspense. Every movement is intentional. He does not rush. The .357 is used sparingly, emphasizing precision over violence. The sequence is notable for its blend of tension and moral clarity. Jamal's actions are not reckless, they are measured, reinforcing his disciplined persona. Scene 2. The Urban Pursuit. Jamal pursues criminals through Manila's congested streets. Foot chases, narrow alley navigation, and vehicular maneuvers are choreographed with realism. Civilians react naturally, emphasizing authenticity. The sequence showcases FPJ performing stunts, blending technical skill with narrative purpose. The chase serves a dual purpose, thrilling action and character development, highlighting Jamal's courage, adaptability, and tactical brilliance. Scene 3. Climactic Showdown. The final confrontation occurs at a syndicate headquarters, symbolizing the fight against the entire corrupt system. Jamal confronts the Bolt leader and his enforcers, combining tactical acumen with moral reasoning. He confronts them without unnecessary bloodshed. Strategic targeting disables their power. His .357 Magnum revolver becomes a symbol of justice, not vengeance. The scene emphasizes the film's overarching theme. Justice, guided by integrity, triumphs over chaos and corruption. Section 4. Character Resolution. By the film's end, Jamal has dismantled key criminal operations. Justice is restored to the affected community. His moral code remains intact. Innocent civilians are protected. The syndicate is exposed and neutralized. FPJ ensures that Jamal's victory is earned through intellect, strategy, and unwavering ethics, rather than simple brute force. His heroism is defined as much by restraint and moral clarity as by physical prowess. Supporting characters, including civilians and police allies, also evolve. Some gain confidence to resist oppression, while others recognize the value of principled leadership. The film concludes with a sense of justice, communal solidarity, and moral triumph, rather than mere action spectacle. Section 5. Cinematography and Direction. Muslim .357 is distinguished by FPJ's meticulous direction as Ronaldo Reyes. Real locations in Manila enhance realism. Lighting emphasizes moral and physical tension. Close-ups capture internal conflict and deliberation. Sound design, ambient city noise, gunfire, and footsteps heighten immersion. Action sequences prioritize strategy over spectacle. The film demonstrates how FPJ balances narrative depth with thrilling action, creating a hero rooted in realism and principle. Section 8. Behind-the-scenes facts. FPJ performed his own stunts, including fight choreography, rooftop maneuvers, and vehicular sequences. Real neighborhoods were used for shooting, adding authenticity to urban action sequences. The .357 Magnum revolver became symbolic of justice and precision in Filipino popular culture. Cultural consultants ensured accurate depiction of Muslim traditions, prayers, and attire. FPJ collaborated with cinematographers to emphasize moral and ethical storytelling alongside action. Many sequences were shot without CGI, relying entirely on practical effects and real stunts. Section 7. Critical reception and awards. Upon release in 1986, the film was praised for FPJ's disciplined performance and moral-centered storytelling. Critics highlighted its blend of action with cultural authenticity. Box office, a commercial hit, reinforcing FPJ's iconic status. Notable recognition includes FAMAS nomination for Best Action Film, acknowledgement for respectful Muslim cultural representation, contribution to FPJ's legacy as a filmmaker portraying principled heroes. Though its acclaim was primarily domestic, Muslim 357 remains a benchmark for culturally grounded action cinema. Section 9. Legacy and Impact. Muslim 357's influence endures. It set a precedent for heroes rooted in integrity, faith, and intelligence. FPJ's portrayal continues to inspire Filipino filmmakers and actors. The narrative showed that action films can convey moral and cultural messages without sacrificing excitement. The 357 revolver became an iconic symbol of moral justice in Filipino cinema. The film's respect for cultural identity and its moral clarity make it relevant decades later, both as a thrilling action movie and a socially conscious narrative. Final thoughts. Muslim 357 is more than a traditional action film. It is a moral journey, a cultural statement, and a cinematic lesson in heroism. FPJ's performance demonstrates that true heroism combines courage, intelligence, restraint, and ethical integrity. The 357 Magnum symbolizes the intersection of principle and action, reminding audiences that justice is earned, protected, and carefully wielded. The film remains a timeless classic, celebrated for its storytelling, action choreography, cultural authenticity, and moral depth. It stands as a definitive work in FPJ's oeuvre, demonstrating how action cinema can simultaneously thrill and inspire. Part 2 complete. This concludes the rewritten two-part in-depth script for Muslim 357, 1986, in a fresh style, suitable for video narration, long-form reviews, or documentary storytelling.